So it's that time of year where you said, I want to fucking lose weight and shit. So now you heard about this keto fucking shit. And you want to try it, but Jillian Michaels says it's bullshit. So you shouldn't try it because Jillian fucking Michaels says so. So some of you may be asking, who the fuck is Jillian Michaels and why should we give a shit? I ask myself the same thing quite often. However, it should be noted that Jillian Michaels was on The Biggest Loser as a personal trainer, and to my knowledge is a personal trainer still treating clients to this day. And it's not a new thing that a personal trainer takes a shit on a dietary approach which could potentially dissolve their client base if everyone were to adopt it. I'm sure that's not factoring into her disapproval, her rather scientific disapproval of the ketogenic diet. So I know a lot of you have the New Year's resolution. I have a lot of people in my personal life who are trying the ketogenic diet and they are straight up having success already. And it's only been a few weeks for some of them. I've helped my mother with the ketogenic diet, and I myself have been keto and or carnivore for the majority of the past 4 years with occasional cheats here and there. Less and less often on the cheats than I used to in the beginning. So today I wanted to do a video first addressing this Jillian Michaels shit that just blew up in the news because apparently it's slow news day or some shit. And I wanted to talk about that and respond to her criticism of the ketogenic diet. And then I wanted to kind of go over a few points, counterpoints to her damning of the diet. And then I wanted to kind of go through some of the ins and outs and misconceptions that people start out the ketogenic diet with, because I get these questions all the time, and they're all things I ran into when I first started out on the ketogenic diet. So, got a lot to talk about. It's going to be a long video. Watch it in small doses. You can probably just listen to it too. I don't know. It might be podcasty. Let's get fucking started. So, Jillian Michaels. This first article comes from Fox News. Don't ask Jillian Michaels to participate in the keto diet. Of course, you wouldn't want somebody to fucking talk like from knowledge and actual experience with something. No, we gotta want to hear theory and conjecture because I'm sure there's absolutely no fucking bias involved with Jillian Michaels' condemnation of the keto diet. For those of you who don't know, she was on The Biggest Loser. Now, The Biggest Loser, if you're not familiar with that, you can probably watch some old episodes right here on YouTube. And basically, The Biggest Loser was this reality TV show where they took morbidly obese individuals and essentially fucking tortured them. I mean tortured them. We're talking 6 to 8 hours of fucking moving more and pounding the fuckmaster and exercising their balls off while eating 800 fucking calorie Whole Foods fucking salad diets. And it's bullshit. And we're gonna get into why. Why the Jillian Michaels approach may work short term, but long term is a bad fucking idea, and this is documented scientifically and shit. Now, and not epidemiology either. They're following and measuring and checking people who are on The Biggest Loser. And this is an extreme example of why many people struggle with weight loss as far as eat less, move more goes. It's a recipe for failure long term, unless you're going to do it the rest of your life. Now, if you're looking to reduce or eliminate health problems and weight, it's not something you do for like fucking one time and that's it. You have to commit to a lifestyle doing whatever the fuck it is you're doing. And if you lose weight down to skinny as fuck with eat less, move more, there are consequences to that. And one of the consequences is you're going to have to work at that level of exercise and that level of dietary restriction to maintain that level of weight loss. And the minute you go over that, you stop exercising, you fucking eat a little more than usual, your weight is gonna skyrocket back up to where you were and perhaps even surpass where you fucking started. And this is what we're gonna talk about in regards to Jillian Michaels' criticism of the keto diet, because I am here to criticize eat less, move more, which is what she is an advocate for, and she obviously is one of those whole food balance motherfuckers. By balance, we mean mostly plant-based and low fat and not a lot of meat, because meat, well, let's face it, meat's bad and shit, right? Even though it's been around for millions of years and long before our obesity crisis. And well, of course, we know better now than in the past 100 years than we did. Oh, wait a minute. How's our obesity statistics again? How's our diabetes statistics? How's our heart disease? Maybe we are dumb as fuck now. Did you ever consider that, Jillian? That maybe we don't know what the fuck we're doing because of how big the problem is? It's great for people's wallets, I will say that. If you want a recipe to be a successful weight loss coach, teach them a way that works short term, but long term has them coming back to you. And they have to keep coming and coming and coming, and they have to keep coming back to you. So yeah, Jillian Michaels says that. So what sparked this media frenzy? Because the media loves to pounce when an expert says that the keto diet is a pile of shit. So whenever that happens, you get the same fucking people lobbing on. But the media is fickle. They'll go back and forth. Whatever the clickbait takes them, they will follow. And somebody like Jillian Michaels coming out, who's a personal trainer, who's helped people lose weight short term, comes out and says that, then yeah, the media is right there with the clickbait, because they know it's going to piss all the ketos off. It's going to, get this whole debate going, and people are going to click their shit, view their ads, revenue's going to go up. But then a week later, they'll tell you the fucking keto diet's good. And we're going to see an example of that today as well. So I'm going to have links to all of these articles below. But yeah, there's a lot of news today. All I did was type in keto today because I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to kind of get some things to talk about in my research. And this is the first thing that popped up, was this Jillian Michaels taking a shit on a diet. And there was like article after article of this. You would think that this is the foremost expert on fucking nutrition, that, this much. She's getting more news coverage in the keto world than Trump's getting in the political world. It's fucking ridiculous. On Women's Health, mag.com, link to this will be in the description, even though they've been putting out a lot of anti-keto bullshit in recent days, including condemning the keto diet and ranking it as like one of the worst. And they're right up there with U.S. News in their bias against the diet. I don't know if these places are run by vegans or what have you, but hey, hint, vegans, you can be keto too. It's not a big deal. You're not, in my opinion, you're not going to do as well as somebody that is an animal-based keto, but it is a possibility to be vegan and keto. But for some reason, vegans just lump keto in with carnivore a lot of the time, especially the lesser educated, lesser informed vegans. Not that I'm implying that Jillian's a vegan. I don't think she is. I just think she's one of those traditionalists that is going to tell you to eat a balanced diet, eat low fat, high carb, exercise your balls off, and you'll lose the weight and be healthy. Notice I'm putting healthy in quotes there. This all sounds fucking great. And then you look at her and you're like, yeah, she must know what she's doing. She's skinny and shit, she works out, and there's like modeling shit going on there. I don't know. But anyways, listening, let's hear what Jillian's take on the motherfucking keto diet is.
In here, the keto diet.
Yeah.
They did this one on purpose because they know I'm going to get super fired up about this.
See, no bias there and shit. No bias at all.
I don't understand. Like, why would anybody think this is a good idea? You know what we need to do?
Oh! Ooh! Why would anybody think this is a good idea? I have a fucking direct answer to that question, because literally, in an article titled, clickbaited, Jillian Michaels criticized the keto diet. See, even the Today Show's been on the ball lately, I think. I don't know. But they're that ones that'll tell you the keto diet's fucking great one day and then tell you that it's a pile of shit the next day. But today is a good day for the Today Show and the fucking ketogenic diet, because they answered that question. And let's get into that. How they answered the question.
Help you take it off today with some incredible stories of people dropping weight and turning their health around.
And this morning we have another great one, a woman who will give hope to anyone who hasn't been able to find a diet that really works.
At her heaviest, Candace Briscoe
It's Take It Off Today show. Apparently it's the New Year's, that's that time of year where everyone's get fired up to lose weight, and then they realize that it might involve a little bit of change in life, and then they realize that they're not ready to give up all the addictive shit, and then they don't keep it off. Unless you hit that wall to where you realize that if you don't change your ways, your lifestyle, your quality of life is going to suffer.
weighed 315 pounds, but a short 10 months later, she's a new person.
Growing up, weight was always a big issue for me. Over the years, I've tried every diet under the sun. You name it, I've done it. But nothing ever stuck.
Gee, I wonder why that is, Jillian. Do you wonder why the keto diet is becoming so popular? Because this story has played out for decades of people that have done eat less, move more with their low-fat, balanced approach, with similar results. They get there and they hit the plateau and their metabolism drops.
Exercising was
But wait,
always
there's
an
a payoff.
In 2016, my mom died from cancer, and my world fell apart. I was so grief-stricken that I threw myself into my nursing job. All I did was eat, work, and repeat.
Stop taping me, I'm mad.
At my heaviest, I weighed 315 pounds. 2 years ago, I was a bridesmaid in a friend's wedding. I gained so much weight, I had to wear 2 size 14 dresses.
So this gets into another problem I have with the motivation for people. It's all about looking good and weight loss. It's so much more important than that. There's so many things going on. Often, obesity is a symptom of an underlying health problem. And it's mainly your body's dysregulation of calories in and calories out, which, by the way, isn't the job of Jillian Michaels and MyFitnessPal. Your brain has been doing this for millions of years, regulating energy balance. And if it fails to do its job, it's because you are eating something that is bad for you, that is fucking that whole system up. I think we can all agree that the standard American diet has accomplished exactly that. Complete dysfunction of your appetite, your hormones, your blood sugar, your entire energy system is just destroyed, which can result in some people in weight gain to the point of obesity, but there is some caps to that genetically on whether or not you can even accommodate body fat, or whether you have a limited amount of body fat that you're able to gain before that fat spills over into your liver, into your pancreas, into your fucking bloodstream, into your heart, into all your organs, into that visceral fat that kills so many people. And, you know, just once again to quote the statistic, 40% of people with metabolic syndrome are of normal body weight. Just saying. So it goes deeper than how you look. You may be watching this right now and go, I ain't fat, and then you go down to fucking Domino's Pizza and you load the fuck up. Well, you know what? You're gonna hit a health wall if you haven't already. If you haven't taken the time to notice how shitty you feel, eventually it's probably gonna be your 40s, 50s, maybe 60s if you're really kind of a slow learner on it. But you're later on in life, you're gonna realize, fuck, I feel like shit all the time. And you're gonna wanna do something about it. So do something about it. has nothing to do with how you look, in my opinion. And I never did this for looks. I did this because of my health and feeling like shit all the time.
Together. That was the moment I knew something had to change. Since then, I've been eating better, exercising, and taking care of myself. In 10 months,
Take note,
I
Jillian.
lost
She's eating better.
135 pounds, and I'm loving the new me.
Ready to see Candace now, 135 pounds lighter? Oh, Candace!
Holy shit! Holy shit! It's like an episode of The Biggest Loser. We get the reveal and everything. What, weren't you on a show that destroyed people? Now, but keep in mind, I'm going to preface this right now. She exercises. She does. But she does something fundamentally different from what you're preaching, Jillian. I keep talking like she's going to watch this. She ain't going to watch this. She's going to see my beard and be like, this guy don't know shit. I know everything. This guy knows shit.
What does this feel like?
Incredible. It's the best I've ever felt in my life, ever. And I'm so grateful to be able to share this with everyone because I've been small before and never felt as incredible as I do now.
You hear that? She did this before. Didn't fucking last. Do you see the theme here on why eat less, move more is a pile of horse shit for weight loss? It's because you have to eat less, move more the rest of your life. Who the fuck wants that? I don't like going to the gym. I have a sedentary job. I've had a sedentary job throughout my weight loss. I was in trucking before. Now I sit in this room editing fucking videos for clients and photos and for YouTube. I sit on my ass the majority of my day. I don't have time to eat less and move more. I get out and hike every now and then and get out and do some physical activity. I'm out of shape, I could argue that. But the reason for moving more isn't weight loss. The reason for moving more is building your stamina, building your muscles, building your physical body up. It's not about tearing down the fat. It's about building up the muscle, building up the stamina. And I argue that exercise serves that role. You know, I'm not here to tell anybody not to fucking exercise. If you have the time, do so. But you don't have to exercise for your entire lifespan. It depends on what your personal goals are and needs in terms of fitness. If you want to be able to go out and run fucking 5Ks or ride your bike 1,000 fucking miles, then you're going to need to go to the gym to make your body, to condition your body to do that. If you just want to look fuckable, you're going to want to sculpt underneath all this fat, but that in and of that, you do not want to just do this to look good. Now, it is part of looking good going to the gym and building your physique, but if you can't fucking see it because it's under 300 pounds of fat, you know, a lot of people lose weight and find they had muscle they didn't know they fucking had. It starts to pop out, you know, and you're like, holy shit. I'm strong and I didn't fucking lift 1 pound. It's you've been carrying around 300 pounds your whole fucking life. Turns out that builds some muscle. That's how you're able to hone that and keep that muscle built by going to the gym and exercising. You're not there to burn more calories than you take in, which is what Eat Less, Move More preaches. Because your body compensates for that. And it often, if you're doing it in that balanced approach and calorie restricting for long periods of time, your body's going to compensate. And your metabolism's going to drop. But we're going to get into that. We're going to touch on the science that disputes, you know. But it's just common sense, too. How many times have you done Eat Less, Move More, lost a shit ton of weight, then for some reason or another you couldn't go to the gym or you couldn't eat the fucking way you wanted to eat anymore, and then all of a sudden you're fucking fat again? This is not a new thing. It's maybe a 3% long-term success rate.
It's definitely a difference.
When you first make up your mind that, okay, it's time, I need to lose the weight, you step on the scale, it's 315 pounds. Is that daunting? I mean, how do you even take that first step?
It was devastating. But sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to know where you need to go. And after...
Now, notice, they haven't said it yet. How the fuck did you do this? But in the small print on the screen, lost 135 pounds on the keto diet and shit.
Seeing that and feeling that isolation and depression and embarrassment, I knew that I had to make a change, especially because my blood pressure was so high. I was in stroke.
Yeah, which I would argue is the more important reason to address your nutrition, and the weight loss being a benefit that comes with that. But yeah, if you're about ready to have a fucking grabber, it might be time to evaluate your diet. And you know what? You don't have to weigh 300 pounds to reach that high blood pressure fucked up point. My blood pressure was creeping before I started this lifestyle. Now my blood pressure, quote, couldn't be better, according to the nurse that took it at my last physical last year. Got another physical I'm due for soon. Figure out how my blood labs are doing, especially since I've done some carnivore time, which I'll talk about at the end, for those of you that stick around.
As a 30-year-old woman, 220 over 120s. So I actually got frightened at that point as well. You know what I mean? So it made it easier.
You talked about the loss of, losing your mom, and a lot of people can relate to the emotional eating. So tell me, how did you take the first step? What did you do?
The first thing I did was start dieting as I knew how, which was like low calorie and low fat. I didn't know anything about ketogenic until a couple months later. And once I found that, it was the difference, because I was able to add things to my diet that I had already taken out, like cheese, which is my favorite. Things that I had cut out already, I was able to add back, so I didn't feel deprived anymore. And that's what a lot of us feel when we're dieting, like, oh, I'm missing out. And it finally found a diet where I felt, wow.
So, if that doesn't answer Jillian Michaels' fucking question, the link to this is also in the description. Kudos to today's show for countering Jillian Michaels' slam of the ketogenic diet, or with an actual case. But we're gonna get a little deeper into why Jillian Michaels is wrong, because it's very deep. So if you're one of those news organizations that's stroking themselves to the fact that Jillian Michaels says that this is the worst fucking idea for diets, then you maybe need to evaluate your health section of your publication and what it's really doing, as far as public health. How do we know Jillian Michaels is wrong? Well, turns out some fucking scientists and doctors and shit got together and did the Biggest Loser study. For 6 years, they studied people that were on the Biggest Loser and lost all that weight through the rigorous process, which you can go right now and observe how they went about it. Very, very strenuous, miserable torture. It is fucking torture. Especially if you hate the gym and you hate exercise. It's fucking torture. Now, there's elderly people losing weight on the ketogenic diet who arguably have a hard time just walking through the fucking mall, let alone going to Bally's and not setting off the fucking lunk alert, a fucking alarm, or whatever the fuck that is. I mean, come on. Sorry. I get a little worked up. I'm easily triggered nowadays. Maybe that's because I'm on the ketogenic diet. Maybe that's eroding my patience with stupidity. But apparently, they took 14 contestants who participated in a 30-week competition, which involves intensive diet and exercise. I gotta zoom this in. Researchers studied 14 contestants who participated in a 30-week competition, which involves intensive diet and exercise training and shit. They started on an average weight of 328 pounds and ended with an average weight of 200 pounds. 6 years later, when 6 men and 8 women went to the National Institute of Health for follow-up measurements, their weight on average was back up to 290 pounds. Now, I already can hear Jillian Michaels saying, well, they didn't fucking do it right. They aren't complying. It's bullshit. They measured their metabolic rate. Their exercise programs didn't change. The group on whole, on average, burned 22,607 calories per day at rest before the competition. Apparently, they measured them before the competition. This is something that they can do. They can put you in a room and determine exactly how much calories you burn at rest. They do something to do with the airflow and all that. It's a scientific fucking measurement. It dropped to 2,000 calories per day at the end of the competition. 6 years later, calorie burning had slowed further to 1,900 calories per day. Why? They tanked their motherfucking metabolism. They starved themselves by A, caloric restriction, and B, exercise. Now, notice I quote that starved yourself fucking thing, because let's just finish listening to Jillian Michaels' bullshit fucking rant.
No! Bad plan. For a million reasons. Let's start with the first one. Your cells, your
Now listen to this fucking science she's rattling off.
molecules are
Your
literally
macromolecules.
made up of protein, fat, carbohydrates, nucleic acids. When you do not eat one of the 3 macronutrients,
Holy shit! When you don't eat the whole grain, look at all of this fucking glyphosate on the right. Holy shit! That is a healthy fucking diet over there. Yes. Diet and shit. When you don't eat that, those healthy whole grains. Oh, don't even get me started on the fucking grain bullshit. Hold on, I need a
three
minute.
things
I need a minute to calm the fuck down. All right, Jillian. I think I can make it through this.
I just mentioned, you're starving your cells. Those
Okay, basic biology. There's a process called gluconeogenesis. In order to maintain your rather minimal glucose requirements, your liver will produce glucose. You do not need to eat a single gram of carbohydrates to survive and thrive. There are people that have been doing this diet for 20 years. Eric Westman. We're going to talk a little bit about Dr. Eric Westman. Because I would trust him a hell of a lot more than I would trust her. He has a far better long-term track record and can prove it with clinical data that he's been recording for 20 plus years. Well, his practice is only 12 years old. But he's been working on this, and he's been ketogenic himself for over 20 years. He's rubbed shoulders with Atkins back in the day. He's written countless scientific peer-reviewed papers on the ketogenic diet. So, let's see. Do I listen to him, or do I listen to the celebrity personal fucking trainer who tortures fat people on TV for fucking ratings and money? It's a tough one. Because Eric Westman arguably also makes a living treating obese individuals, but I'm betting after he's done with them and they're fixed and cured and good to go, other than the occasional checkup maybe once a year, they're probably not repeat customers.
macronutrients serve a very important purpose for your overall health and well-being, each and every one of them. Period, end of story. You don't eat processed sugar, you don't eat processed grains.
You don't eat any fucking grains. We can agree on the sugar. That's about the only thing I see eye to eye with. Everything else about Jillian Michaels' approach is bullshit. But, that being said, short term, you want to lose some weight, and you want to do the Jillian Michaels, you can do both, by the way. You can tank your metabolism, eat less, move more yourself to fucking death, go to the gym and burn fucking for 3 hours every fucking day, burn off all the excess fucking calories, and start maybe building some muscle, which you can't do if you're in a caloric deficit, but, you know, that's a whole other story. And just do that for a while and get down to your goal weight, and then switch to keto. And then you'll go through this period where you'll regain some weight probably, you know. You'll lose the water weight. You're going to lose 8 to 10 pounds of water weight in the beginning. But after that, you might creep up a little. But then as your metabolism, your apostat, the part of your brain which takes care of your weight, your regulation, your energy balance, will eventually slowly ramp your metabolism back up. If you keep eating that balanced diet she's talking about after you do this, your metabolism will tank, as per the Biggest Loser study, which is also linked in the description for your reading pleasure. Let me pull it up right here. from PubMed, persistent metabolic adaptation 6 years after the Biggest Loser composition. And we'll just skip right to the results here. Well, actually, first, they measured the body composition with X-ray absorption, something or other, and RMR was determined by indirect calorimetry at baseline and at the end of 30 weeks and blah, 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 blah. So whatever calorimetry, yeah, that's scientific shit. Results of the 16 Biggest Loser competitors originally investigated, 14 participated in the follow-up study. Weight loss at the end of the competition was 58 kilograms. I'm too lazy to look up the translation, but it's more pounds. You know, I think you know, shit, 41 pounds was about 90, or 41 kilograms, which was average after 6 years. Oh, we'll get to it. But keep in mind, I'm talking kilograms. There's a conversion there. So, at the end of the competition, the mean weight loss was 58.3 plus or minus 24 kilograms. That's a pretty big variance. And RMR decreased. And now this is fucking scary. This part. Their resting metabolic rate decreased by 610 plus or minus 483 calories per day. Your body, that's telling me randomly with that variance that your body can slow your metabolism to damn near 1,000 calories per day. As in, it slows you the fuck down. And that's fucking scary. That puts all of those calorie counting motherfuckers out of business. Because your body can change, which is why eat less, move more is bullshit. But some people gotta learn the hard way. Took them 6 years to figure out, damn, that didn't work. That's 6 years. Imagine if they'd have just went keto 6 years ago and didn't maybe go to the gym maybe twice a week instead of 8 hours a day for fucking how many fucking weeks their competition was. 41 kilograms plus or minus 31 kilograms of the lost weight was regained. So that's going to be where these personal trainers are like, well, they went back to eating their old shit. Not true, but still. Some of them may have. I could argue that. You know, I could give you that. But there are some people that were passionate to try and keep what they held on to. And anybody that's achieved that level of success, I can tell you, is going to be hyper vigilant when it comes to weight regain. I should know. You know, it's almost an obsession at that point. Once you've lost the weight, you are obsessed with keeping it gone. You're not just fucking going down to Domino's Pizza and being like, yep. No, you busted your ass, especially the way you made them lose their weight. The resting metabolic rate was 704 plus or minus 427 calories a day below baseline. Now, this is at rest. They're burning less than they used to, and it stayed that way. And in some cases, actually, it got worse. Their metabolism stayed tanked and continued to tank, which tells me not only did they keep doing your fucking exercise routines and shitty fucking diet, but they might have even doubled down a bit because they were scared to regain the weight. As I told you, it's an obsession when you lose a lot of weight. You're not gonna fucking just sit there and you know, some people will, but the majority of people that lose weight, especially when they fucking did so in such a torturous fucking manner, are going to be hyper vigilant to not regain the weight. So they might have seen some scale creep and been like, fuck! So they went back to fucking doubling down on the exercise and eating hardly any fucking calories at all. Which is not sustainable long term. Sooner or later, the hunger is going to get you. And your way, Jillian, does nothing to address hunger. Nothing. You're going to be hungrier than you've ever been in your fucking life if you follow your method to weight loss. Just saying. So it goes on to basically conclude that metabolic adaptation persists over time and is likely proportional but incomplete response to contemporaneous efforts to reduce body weight. I kind of disagree with the study and its conclusion based. Straight up, your apostat is fucked up. Your hormones that regulate energy balance, leptin, ghrelin, insulin, are all out of whack. Your brain doesn't know whether it's coming or going, so it assumes you're starving. Your insulin resistance is causing the energy to bypass your cells, so they're telling your brain you're starving. Eat, 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 eat. You're going to be insanely hungry, and you're eventually going to cave in and eat to gain the weight. And not only that, it's slowing down all of your resting metabolic rate. And in some cases, even your time in the gym has become so efficient that you're not really making headway there. And you end up plateaued as fuck. And the moment you can't maintain that level, the weight will start to creep back up. If I go back and eat the Jillian Michaels diet, I will have my weight creep up. I might even do it at some point. If I feel like being sick and feeling like shit and depressed and miserable for a while, maybe I'll test your theory, Jillian, and go back to eating a balanced diet that includes whole fucking grains. And I don't know that I want to do that to myself. I'd almost say it's borderline unethical for me to do that self-experiment, but I know enough about my cheat days to know that even with fucking whole food, which is what I did when I went down to St. Lucia, it was whole foods with some sugary shit, but it was mostly whole grains, healthy vegan shit, and of course I had my eggs in the morning. But, bad idea to combine the two diets. I agree there. Don't eat a high-fat, protein keto diet and then load up on a bunch of carbs and sugar at the same time. That's a recipe for disaster and dysregulation as well. So, there's the science. There's the answer to this.
And to make a very long story short, avoid the keto diet. Common sense, balanced diet is key.
So, common sense. So what does your common sense tell you about the balanced diet, eat less, move more approach that we've been preaching since we started doing processed foods? Pretty much. Before we started all of this stupidity, we knew that a low-carb diet was the cure for diabetes. We knew it back in the day. In fact, it was more strict than current keto standards, 10 grams or less carbohydrates a day. I'm quoting Eric Westman's video that we're going to touch on a little bit here. So, do you listen to her, given her body of work, so to speak? Yeah, if you want to judge solely based on looks, then you might listen to her. Or you can listen to somebody who has a hell of a lot better data than her. And that is Dr. Eric Westman. So Dr. Westman has been doing keto diet on himself for 20 years. He's a doctor. He has a clinic who treats patients. So let's listen to a little bit from him real quick.
The average person coming through our clinic is 50.5 years old, 74% are female, half and half Caucasian, African American. The average BMI, body mass index, which is the weight divided by the height twice, is 40.5. The definition of obesity is at about 30 kilograms per meter squared, so this is a moderate to severely affected population. Half of our private, half are public insurance. And over the last 5 years, we've treated 2,000 patients and helped them lose 26,000 pounds.
And he has the medical records. He has their ketone levels. He checks their blood ketones and urine ketones regularly. This is a really good lecture for those of you who want to know about long-term keto, because he's done it with thousands of patients and documented it every step of the way. Now, you have down here us assholes on fucking YouTube talking shit that we did this diet and got this result. That's anecdotal data. Believe it or not, they kind of consider his data anecdotal data. Even though he's measuring, he's observing, he knows if they've stuck to the diet or not. He's diagnosed tons of health conditions and problems. He has treated health conditions and problems with purely a ketogenic approach. So if I'm going to listen to somebody, I'm going to listen to a doctor who knows his shit, practices this himself, and treats up to 4,000 patients over the past 13, 12 years that he's had this clinic with morbid obesity, dire health problems, including diabetes, heart disease, and has successfully been using the diet in his practice instead of pharmaceuticals and bariatric fucking surgery and shit.
Post-bariatric surgery, weight gain, now the harsh reality is that most people are regaining the weight even after bariatric surgery.
Yeah, imagine that. Now, that's surgical eat less, move more. And they're still regaining the weight. Why? The same fucking reason as before. The same thing. Why are bariatric surgery people regaining weight? And then having to go keto anyway. So essentially the bariatric surgery torture, destroyed their body, destroyed their digestive system, and they're still looking because they start regaining the weight. They still want to, then they end up doing keto anyway. I argue that makes the surgery completely unnecessary. Not everyone's going to agree with me. That's a little controversial. I know some of you watching this have had that surgery. And I'm sorry. If I could have been there when you were making the decision, I'd have been like, no. I didn't do it. I was obese. I'm fine. I didn't pound the fuck master to death. I didn't fucking starve. Well, some would argue because I fast. No, I don't fast enough. Trust me. I'm overdue for a long fast. But I don't do fasting for weight loss anymore. I do it because I'm trying to treat and tweak certain things that the keto diet didn't fully address. But we can get into that later when I talk about what I wish I knew when I started keto. But basically,
no one even does the lap band anymore in this country because it's just not strong enough. And then the Roux-en-Y has morphed over into the gastric sleeve because Roux-en-Y has too many complications for some people's taste.
What it comes down to is, who do you trust? Whose advice do you trust? Now, Jillian needs to actually do her homework before she talks shit. She has got her own little confirmation bias based on her success short term with helping people lose weight. And that's what a lot of people, they'll send you through the revolving door, and it's a revolving door. You go to her, you pay her all kinds of fucking money to pound and torture you in the gym and tell you and browbeat you into eating less calories while eating whole foods and eating clean, which I've done that, and it sucks. And you're hungry, and you're miserable, and all you want to do is eat more all the time. And then you go to the gym, that makes you want to eat even more. And it's torture. And we need to fucking stop that shit, in my opinion. Educate yourself on how the body really works and nutrition, and you will see how the keto diet is a healthy, good diet. And it's a balanced diet, believe it or not. If you're doing straight up keto where you're allowed to eat vegetables and you're allowed to eat a little bit of fucking fruit, and it's all in extreme moderation as far as that, and you're not overeating protein, which we're going to get into that a little bit. But it's a balanced diet. And it's balanced properly for how we're designed. Because we were designed as hunter-gatherers. Our DNA has not shifted. We weren't designed for eat less, move more. We had to move more back in the day. But our bodies took care of our energy balance. Our hormones, our brain will keep you at a normal body weight. We've fucked that up clearly in the past 50 years. And you can just look around you and see how well eat less, move more in a balanced, low-fat, high-carb diet approach has served us. And I give you a hint, not every motherfucker you see has been eating fast food at McDonald's like you assume every time you see somebody that's overweight. So, Jillian, when it comes to keto, just shut the fuck up till you know your shit. Now, I actually get better arguments from evangelical vegans than what Jillian Michaels put out is her argument. So why this is making the headlines, why this is all over the fucking media, it's clickbait. That's it. It's the only reason. $, clickbait. More money. It's why we're hearing the same fucking bullshit response to the growing popularity of the keto diet. We even had our first fucking keto holiday. Did you know that? January 5th, Vitamin Shop, supplements, declared in some registry somewhere that's, now don't get excited because there's National Donut Day too. But we got a holiday now, apparently, a keto day. Wonder if that'll catch on. I don't know. But it is a sign of the growing popularity of keto. Remember I told you the way we can change our food system is from the bottom up, from how you spend your money? Food industry starting to hear the rumblings of keto and are going to reformulate and provide you plenty of unhealthy, processed keto foods that will allow you to keep your ketosis level, might arguably cause some other health issues. And stick to whole foods. You know, don't get sucked in by the marketing and ease of finding keto processed foods. Whole foods, keto, is the way to go. It's really that simple. You know, the less processed your diet is, no matter what diet it is, it's going to be better. But ultimately, if you're looking for optimal, and you don't want to bust your ass in the gym to maintain your loss, keto's the way to go. Because even if you're eating less, moving more while doing keto, your body's hormones will do their job. And they'll tell you you're hungry. And you'll eat a little more, and it'll push you back up. You see, that plus or minus can go the other way on keto. If you overeat on keto, your metabolism, your resting metabolic rate will rise to almost the same degree that it tanks when you do eat less, move more. So you will plateau going up. I've done it a couple times now. And it gets scary. Because you'll gain like 5, maybe 6 pounds, and you're like, oh shit. Turns out you fucked up somewhere in your keto diet. You ate something fucked up. Probably vegetable oil or something like that. You got inflamed. And you got bloated. And you carried a little more water weight than you otherwise would have. And then it drops back off. I'm weighing 196. I've been doing carnivore, granted, for 6 weeks. But I'm at my plateau range. It's not going down. And anytime I go up, it comes back down naturally without any other interventions on my part. Why? Because I'm letting my fucking brain do the shit for me instead of coming to people like Jillian Michaels and saying, could you regulate my energy balance for me? I know that means I'm going to go to the fucking gym 10 times a week and not hardly eat anything in the process and eat fucking salads all the time. But no, I'd rather let my brain and genetics and hormones do their fucking job. And your dietary approach keeps that dysregulated. It's proven. It has pretty much been proven anecdotally throughout the years. But now there's some scientific data to back it up. And you know how hard I am on science nowadays. So, it's up to you. Who do you want to believe? Who do you want to trust? It's really down to that. So that's enough of Jillian Michaels bullshit. So you're on keto, you've just started out. Now there's some lessons that I see that people do wrong. First of all, it's not about protein. It's not about animals. You're eating just as much protein and meat, so to speak, on a ketogenic diet as you would on any other diet. As you should on any other diet, I should say, because there's some diets that undereat meat. So it's not a ticket to go out and load up on fucking pounds and pounds of fucking meat. It is about fat. You're taking away the carbohydrates and you're replacing it with healthy fat. Healthy fat coming from fucking animals. Alright? Sorry. Vegans gonna hate that. Go have your coconut oil and your olive oil and you'll be just as keto as the rest of us. I prefer natural packaged fat that comes often with the meat I eat. I don't eat lots of lean meat. I like fatty cuts of meat with lots of marbling and all of that. I put butter on just about everything. Even shit that you don't think needs butter, I put extra butter in. When I fucking cook up some ground fucking organic 80% fat beef, which is pretty fat to begin with, I put a big fucking hunk of butter in there and melt it in, and then it's a big bowl of greasy, fatty goodness. And then I'm not hungry for 2 days when I do that, when I eat that particular thing. I did that yesterday at about 4, and I haven't been hungry yet today. Now granted, I do also put fat in my coffee. Heavy cream. So it is about taking that carbohydrate, bringing it down. Less than 20 grams per day. 30 grams. Depending on how your results go. If you're struggling with getting into ketosis, drop it to 20, you'll get there. And upping your fat while leaving your meat consumption the same. If it was normal to begin with. If you weren't eating a whole lot of meat, then you need to bring it up to normal human being levels. For me, works out to about 1 ribeye every other day, along with some eggs every day, or well, not every day. Either it's an egg day or a ribeye day for me currently on the carnivore diet. But you can do it with fish, you can do it with any kind of meat, chicken, pork. Now, I would focus a little less on those and more on the red meat and more on the fish than I would with chicken and pork. But I like chicken, so I do eat a decent amount of chicken. Maybe once a week I'll have chicken. And fatty chicken, not breast, the dark meat. Lots of fat. Lid the skin on if you can. Not fried in vegetable oil if you can. It's not a real option unless you're cooking your own wings, I'm finding. Even the char-grilled ones, throw them in the fryer before they give them to you. So if you feel like shit after eating some wings that you say that looked like they were char-grilled, but you could tell they were fried before that, then that might be why. So that's probably the number one thing I would say about keto. Early on in keto, you're going to be looking for all kinds of Franken desserts to replace all of the shit that you can't have anymore. I would avoid that. But it's really a simple diet. It's a simple dietary change. You don't have to count your calories. You don't even have to pound the fuckmaster. Now, it helps. It helps with your fitness level. It can help get your energy balance. I would wait till your 6-week mark before I started an exercise program of any kind. But there's some people I know that have successfully shifted their self into a ketogenic metabolism while doing copious amounts of physical activity, and they're very happy with how they're performing and with their weight loss. My friend Chris is still keto strong as far as I know. And that's something I wish I knew going into this, because I did every fucking thing wrong that you can think of when you start out keto. And I failed it a bunch of times. Cheat days, can't have them. Not in the beginning. And later on, you'll get, first of all, you won't crave as much if you don't have those cheat days in the beginning. And later on, when you can have a cheat day, you might not be motivated to after your first couple times of doing it, and you feel like shit, and you regain a bunch of weight, and you're like, fuck, and it takes you weeks to recover from that one cheat day, and you're just like, yeah, maybe not so much. It wasn't worth it. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I haven't had a cheat day since St. Lucia. So, yeah. And I went from that to keto and then straight to carnivore after that due to some other things, which you can find out about in some of my other videos in the past month or two. But that's basically it. Keto is a perfectly good diet and good enough to be the diet of choice till the end. Carnivore is more of a therapeutic diet, in my opinion, and that's exactly what I use the carnivore diet for. So, quick update with me as we're winding down here. I am starting to go back to my ketovore ways. I've already reintroduced Halo Top ice cream to my diet, and guess what? I've not experienced any of these symptoms, depression, lethargy, or poor energy levels that I was experiencing before, which I wanted to use carnivore to baseline to figure out which food was doing that to me. Turns out Halo Top, which is not healthy, by the way, and not something you should do often, but it's like the only really desserty thing that I have in my life. I can't tell you how many times that has kept me from falling off the wagon, just having a little something sweet. And even if you eat the whole fucking thing in one sitting and you don't eat any other carbs that day, you're still going to be under your total for ketosis. I don't recommend that. I tend to sit down and eat 5-6 spoonfuls of it and put it in fucking back in the freezer. The Halo Top will last me a while as a dessert. Not to say that I haven't done that, sit down and eat the whole fucking thing. But the fact is, that's the first thing I reintroduced with no symptoms. And that's what I will be doing over the course of the next month or so, is reintroducing some of the keto foods. I'm saving the Veronica's Health Crunch, which I believe is the #1 suspect for my issues, for last. I want to reintroduce some tomato sauce, occasionally low-carb tomato sauce in with, so I can have my pizza bowl, topping bowl that I usually have, and, so on and so forth. So if I had it to do over again, and I knew all the shit I know now, I would definitely lean heavily on carnivore diet as a way to rule out certain foods which might be stopping your progress. It might be still not resolving some of your health problems that you may be experiencing, both mental health and physical health and energy. Also, if you're feeling like you don't have any energy on the diet, you might be under eating, which means up the fat. Meat the same, and meat at a nice respectable level, no more than, I would say a pound is like the max. If you're eating more than a pound of meat a day, you're doing too much, And that's if you're a carnivore. And you shouldn't, if you're keto and not carnivore, you should not need a pound of meat a day. You could get by with a 12 ounce or a 10 ounce or an 8 ounce chunk of meat and a whole lot of fat and some of your vegetables or whatever the hell else that you want to do on keto, and cheese and, all of the great fucking foods that you can have on keto. You balance them out. But if you're feeling like shit and you're not getting enough energy, up your fat. Have a bulletproof coffee. That's 300 calories right there. Bulletproof coffee. 1 cup of bulletproof coffee, 300 fucking calories of fat. I go with heavy cream. That's about 100 calories per cup of coffee, but I drink a decent amount of coffee, which I can have on the keto diet. Imagine that. And sometimes keto, that's another thing, is I treat coffee like a dessert now. Like, how sometimes I've always wanted like something sweet after a meal. I don't know what it is. It's my genetics or something. So often for me, I put my stevia erythritol, which is the only artificial sweetener I know, which another thing I wish I knew back then, that doesn't have an effect on me. And I tried them all, and it was trial and error to figure out which one affected me the least. And it turns out stevia erythritol has a minimum effect. It's stevia mixed with erythritol. You can find it in Splenda Naturals. There's some other off-brand ones you can find on Amazon. I would avoid Truvia because they put other shit like dextrose and shit in there. You just want stevia and erythritol to be the only 2 ingredients. And it's a sugar alcohol, and some people have issues with gas. But erythritol in the dosage that's mixed with stevia seems to not have that effect on me. Also, that's also what Halo Top is partially sweetened with. It does have a little sugar mixed in too, so it's not like it's a sugar-free diet. So that's all, just some of the basic things. This video ran a little long. Thank you all for all my new subscribers that have come in over the past month. You really have kind of turned me around to keeping the channel going. Patreon's done, in case you didn't find that out already. I took it down on Tuesday, just like I said I would, so there's no more Patreon. If you found this video enlightening, entertaining, or it just got you through an hour of your life, and you want to support the channel, head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com and leave a tip in the virtual fucking tip jar. Link for that is in the description. Or you can listen to me talk even more on my weekly podcast, which you can also purchase via ScottTheTruckDriver.com for just $5 a download for 2 hours of content. And that's if you didn't get enough here, because I obviously am going to make videos here too. This was a long one. This was almost a podcast in and of itself. So check that out if you want to hear more of the shit I talk, or if this is your first time encountering my shit. And then if you don't want to do any of that, you can still support the channel by hitting like and subscribe and growing and sharing. Have somebody you think this information would help? share. That's how we grow too, is you showing people that there's info out there that's not bullshit. Unlike what you see on fucking media 90% of the time. Just saying. Not to say that there's not a fair amount of bullshit here on YouTube. But at least give some voice to those of us who aren't Jillian Michaels. With our massive celebrity from being on TV for torturing. You shouldn't be allowed to be famous for torturing fat people. I'm sorry. You just shouldn't. It's not allowed. Alright? Why are we looking up to someone like Jillian Michaels who literally tortured fat people? That's my opinion. Sorry. Sorry, Jillian. I don't like you. And I don't like you because I know what it's like to be tortured and obese. And it's not fun. And to go through that and you get rewarded with the weight loss and you're like, yay! And then 6 years later, you've regained every fucking last pound. And not only that, you can't even do it again because your metabolism's tanked. So you can't even get to where you got the first time. Because you're going to plateau far shy of that the second time around. Follow more what we saw on the Today Show segment where she went keto and went to the gym, if that's your thing. But know that it's not a requirement to go to the gym to do this lifestyle change. Do as much exercise as you want for your fitness level as far as what do you physically got to do. If all you're going to do is sit in a fucking chair all the time, you probably don't need to go to the gym 50 times a fucking week to do that. If you want to go out and run 5Ks, better get to the gym. Just saying. And it's going to make you a little hungrier on the ketogenic diet. But guess what? Your brain will take care of it. Your hormones will take care of it. Once the damage is repaired. Some of you are fucked up. Some of you, it's going to take a long time. Some of you might even have to do some therapeutic carnivore time to really hone in. But that's a whole other video in and of itself. So thank you, but remember, much like Jillian Michaels, I'm not a fucking expert, neither is she. I'm just a fucking asshole. You can fill in the blank there. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit.